Welcome back, folks. A few months ago, one of our junior staff was given the simple task of contacting an upcoming guest, a well-known stand-up comic, to confirm the details for his next appearance on the show. Unfortunately, the wrong number was dialed, and somehow, the guy who answered the phone was booked for the slot. The mistake was caught in time, and we thought corrected. So the appearance went off without a hitch. A few days later, however, we were contacted by the law firm of Take Da Money and Run, informing us that the guy who was mistakenly dialed was suing for breach of contract. It turns out he happens to be a struggling comic hoping for his big break. So, rather than fight the matter in court, or even settle for an undisclosed amount, the geniuses at our former law firm of Triple Billam and Hyde totally dropped the ball and gave in to their demands of allowing this guy a 3-minute slot, and not a second more, on the show. So, it is without further ado we present the court-ordered appearance of rank amateur and talentless hack, Blarney Stonehenge.
I'll tell you, I'm feeling better now, but last week I wasn't doing so good, you know? But what can I expect? It's been the same way my whole life. I get no appreciation at all. It all started when I was born. My father took my birth certificate to the cops as evidence of mistaken identity. And man, was he cheap? Him and my mother both. They were always looking for ways to save a buck, you know? To save money around the holidays, they would combine my Christmas present with my birthday gift. The only problem is I was born in August. Even my rich uncle was cheap. To save money, he only nicknamed me in his will. I don't blame him, though. He was always afraid he'd catch something and wouldn't be able to work at his roofing job and feed his family. It turns out he did come down with something, but he got a lucky break. It was a case of shingles. As you can see, things never got much better. Partly because I grew up in a pretty tough neighborhood. As a kid, my nightlight was on top of a cop car. Of course, I went to a pretty tough high school. At track and field meets, the finish line was police tape, and the photo finish camera only took mugshots. Looking back, I realized that high school was when my trouble with girls started. I had a crush on my cousin, twice removed. She told me if I had to be removed a third time, it would be by the cops. A few years later, my old man tried to set me up in an arranged marriage with his friend's daughter. She took one look at me and paid her own dowry, plus interest. I don't blame her, though, you know? I know I'm not so good looking. I mean, for instance, last week I was buying stamps at the post office, and I looked up and saw my picture on a not wanted poster. I haven't had much luck with women. Not that I didn't try, you know? One time, I met a sexy woman with a foreign accent in a department store, and she asked me if I'd be interested in a one-night stand. I said sure. So she brought out an end table and said, "We had to break up at a seta. I give you a good deal, a half offer." Oh, come on, fellas. Give me a break. Things really started to go downhill from there, let me tell you. On this one Valentine's Day, I got a note from a secret admirer. It said, "Let's keep it this way." Another time, I was having drinks with this woman, and she kept complaining how she always ended up with the wrong guy, you know? We were on a blind date. I could sense right away things weren't going too good. Within 5 minutes, she went to the ladies' room. When she came out, she was wearing dark glasses and carrying a cup filled with pencils. What? Just let me finish and I'll go quietly. I swear on my parole officer's children. I finally did hook up with this one woman, though. We went to bed on our first date, and I couldn't help noticing the mirror on the ceiling. Next time I stayed over, I saw she added a sticker to it that said, "Warning, objects in the mirror are much smaller than they appear." All right. I'm almost through. Things went straight downhill from there. You see, we had a long-distance relationship. Every 5 minutes, she would cut me off and ask for more money. After a few months, I decided to break up with her, so I took her to a fancy restaurant, you know? Things started going wrong as soon as we pulled up. The valet threw his car keys at me. During dinner, I was trying to soften the blow, so I told her, "It's not you, it's me." She agreed and went home with the restroom attendant. From the men's room. After college, I got my first real job. But even in business, I had no clue. The first time I went into the secretarial pool, I brought a beach towel and wore a snorkel. That's how I met my wife. And let me tell you, she ain't no gift from above either, you know? Like for starters, when I proposed to her, I went down on one knee. It must have triggered some kind of a flashback, 'cause she kicked that ring a good 50 yards. Only missed the post by that much, though. Right after we got married, she sent our wedding video back and asked for some drastic editing cuts and expensive reshoots. At the end of a year, we found out the first anniversary gifts are supposed to be cheap, handcrafted, and made from all kinds of different papers. So, I made my wife a paper card and left it on the kitchen table when I went to work. She had my papers served to me when I got there. Somehow, we managed to hang in, though. But it hasn't been easy, let me tell you. After 5 years of marriage, she tried to fake amnesia, but she couldn't remember how. All right, I'm going. I'll tell you, story of my life. Nobody appreciates me. I get no regard.